Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the webinar Never Run Out of Money Before Running Out of Life. My name is CF Liu, and I have my team here that will try their best to answer all your questions during this webinar. So please feel free to ask any questions or any comments in the chat box. Now, just a brief introduction of myself. I'm CF Liu. I'm the founder of a few personal finance or financial planning websites. My main site is at howtofinancemoney.com. Over there, you can get really good insights on money matters, personal financial planning, retirement planning, and stuff like that. And there's also an advisory site of mine called Retirement Calculator with a Z at the end.com, which very laser focus on the issues of retirement planning and management. Before we go further, just do a quick sound check here of whether you can hear me clearly, whether it's loud and clear at your end, right? Okay. Tell me where you are from, right? I think we have people that is logging in from all over the world, right? Some from Malaysia, which where I'm based, some from United States, of course, some from London, I see. Right. Okay, from Singapore. All right, so looks good. Let's begin, and this is going to take about an hour, right? So if you miss parts of it, then too bad, because there'll be no replay or recording of this session. Okay, let's move on. Now, first, I'm going to tell you what we are going to cover for the next hour or so. First is the case study. I'm going to give you a typical client scenario when it comes to financial come retirement planning, and I'm really going to go to explain to you what are the type of clients that really engage myself, especially to do this what we call a fee-based financial planning. And the reason why I want to talk about financial planning, because it's a financial planning is essentially an integral part of retirement planning, or you can even put it on the other way. Retirement planning is always an integral part of financial planning. That's why I want to show you a real case study. What are the questions that typically a client has? What are the painful problems they have that makes them to engage me on a one-to-one basis? How, and some of the questions I believe you can relate to them too. So after that, after I'm giving you a preview of what are the typical client scenario, I'm going to lead you to what are the behind the scenes of retirement planning and management advisory we are doing for clients. Meaning that it's not during when I meet clients, but what I'm saying that if you were to embark this on your own, on your DIY, right? You can maybe you take some pointers that I'm going to share with you from this webinar. And I mean, you can, if you have the interest, you don't mind spending a lot of time to think about certain variables and all that, you can actually chart your own retirement or financial roadmap. So I'm going to give you a snapshot, a sneak peek of how we do things behind the scene. And of course, I'm going to give you some testimonials of clients that have engaged us and see what they think about the approach and the whole process itself. And lastly, I'm going to share with you this kind of advisory, who is this for and who is this isn't for, so you have a clear view of whether this is right for you or not, to make an informed decision before engaging me and things like that. So note, if you stay until the end of the webinar, I'm going to give you some bonus or analysis of what we are going to cover throughout this session. But the first thing, before we really jump into the case study, I want to ask, why are you even here? Or you want to ask yourself, why am I even here listening to this? Now, for most people, this is very seldom about retirement. They say that, what? right? You ask me, Liu, what are you talking about? Yeah, it's really seldom just only because of retirement or only because of the money per se. Okay, it's more than that, and I'm going to share with you what I mean by that, because after years of advising clients when it comes to financial retirement planning, we know what are the psychological things that is very deep that we want to tackle. Now, let's face it, when it comes to retirement planning, financial planning, nobody is really looking for budget retirement, right? Why? Because modern day retirement is synonymous with experiencing some of the best things in life, such as dining out at Michelin stars restaurant, indulgent golfing, or whatever your pastime is, and of course luxurious vacation. So this is what we are really looking for retirement for most people, and this is just 3 examples. Now I'm going to also, let's go to this first page of my retirement calculator, z.com, so you can see exactly what I meant. Now, to walk you through here, okay, these are some of the real case scenario that people are telling us, and I'm just sharing this to see if you can relate to them. So what people are always looking for, what's the painful question in their mind, is that they're saying that I'm ready to live the retirement life I've always dreamed of, but I'm also feeling terrified I will soon run out of money before running out of life, right? It may not happen, but running out of money late in your retirement is absolutely unthinkable if you live longer than you projected yourself to be. So you don't want to really take any chances, but at the same time you are really unsure, right? Without crunching some numbers, you do not know whether that there's a remote chance of that happening or not. So this is like a nagging pain at the pain of your neck or your head. You just keep on avoiding the doctor's appointment, because the fact is you probably think that finding out the truth now can be too depressing, and you continue to live in denial. On the other hand, you probably absolutely don't want to live like a miser in retirement after years of blood and sweat and tears toiling at your career, because that is the end reward, right? We are talking about. This is the ultimate reward. And yes, you absolutely deserve your dream retirement after years of hard work. I mean, that is what makes life worth living. But right now you are in dilemma. Okay, this retirement is about money, yes, because money, having enough, sufficient, or more than what you project you need, is about having a better peace of mind during your retirement years. And when you talk about retirement, it doesn't necessarily means that you have to be like over 50 or 60. Now more and more people are actually retiring early than what the major population is doing, like maybe 35 or 40. So don't feel that the retirement is a dirty word for old people. But for a lot of people, the earlier you so-called retire, these are the so-called retirement peace killers that are lingering in your mind, that prevents you from retiring early, because you probably feel that you can start working and just live on your portfolio, reinvest it and things like that. But you still have, let's say, 30-40 years to go, and you're worried that eventually money will run out, because this really a long time. So since 2012, I've been advising multitude clients on managing the retirement finances. Like I told you, there's a deeper layer than just money. And over the years, I began to see a trend, okay, a trend. And that trend is, how I'm going to see that, I examine what the inner psychology to find out why people are not retiring with the peace of mind that they deserve despite all the money and freely information available. You type Google retirement planning, there's a lot of articles and whatnot and things like that. So this is where a concept I discovered called retirement peace killers, an imagination of scenario that could likely materialize with one major mistake in managing your retirement nest egg. And most of the time it's invincible to even the closest people in your lives, because you never really explicitly, it's hard to really express it out. It's just like that kind of feeling that you feel that you are not nobody really understand what you're feeling. So you can go to here and look at, these are the common, what we call it 17 I've listed so far, but I think this list is by no means a comprehensive one. As you get more and more experience, I've gathered up to a point 17 pernicious retirement peace killers that may apply to you. For example, even though you have a few millions in the bank, because you never go through the process of don't know whether your money can last you throughout the retirement years, you might be procrastinating of the price tag of everything that you want to buy. You're fearing of overspending day in and day out, even you're shopping at a discount store. So these are the things that really prevent people from enjoying the retirement that they deserve. Now you can read all this, and just going to jump right back into the case study. Here I'm going to show you what fee-based financial planning is about. Now this is a real case scenario from one of our clients. Of course the names are being blacked out, but the situation that is presented here is very similar to a real case that we have worked on in the past. This is what Mr. and Mrs. X, age 45 and 43 respectively have. They have this amount of cash deposit both in Malaysia and Singapore. Of course, they have a detailed breakdown of their EPF and also their EPF, which is invested in multiple unit trust funds. Of course, they have a bit of shares. Then this data is very important because they give us what to determine what are the surplus every year when it comes to financial planning. For example, in this case, they have an annual household income of 800,000 and they expect increment of this household income of 2% per year compared to their current existing annual expenses of 400,000 per year at an inflation rate of 4% per year. Now, Mr. X works as a senior marketing director position in a multinational company. He travels to Singapore and he travels to Malaysia, both countries. His wife is actually a part-time home business owner. They got a children aged 7 and 13. They are both in international school, and they have an insurance policies totaling about 25,000 of annual premium. Moving on, this is their properties portfolio. They have 3 existing properties, 2 condos and 1 shop lot. This is what the properties are being valued at current market rate. This is what the outstanding loan for each respective properties. This is what they are getting in every month for their rental income, and this is what they are paying every month for their mortgage installment. And they also told us that they have upcoming properties, 2 shop lots and 2 more condos, investment properties. It will be ready in these dates, and these are the valuation, these are the outstanding loan, this is the expected rental income, and this is the mortgage repayment. GRR means that they have a guarantee return, rental return from developer. So basically there's only a minor incidental cost to cover. So these are their properties portfolio. Now the second part is what Mr. and Mrs. X want to achieve. First, the husband, Mr. X, wants to retire from his current position to a more flexible time, his own business, consultancy business, at the age of 50. Remember, he's currently at age 45, so there is 5 more years to go. Therefore, this for the next 5 years is very critical for him to know whether he can retire from his current position, financially of course, by 50. Otherwise, he would be willing to extend his current position work to age 55, but definitely no more than age 55. And the third goal that they want to achieve is they want to achieve to buy a condominium in Singapore, which is currently valued at 1.2 million Sing dollar, latest by 2019. The thing is unwilling to pay more than 5,000 Sing dollar a month for this condominium, knowing that he is constrained by these few factors, that he can only take a mortgage in Singapore until age 65 only. So there's a bit of tweaking that needs to be done here, because this means he needs to fork out quite a substantial sum to keep substantial deposit, initial down payment, to keep his monthly repayment of the Singapore condo to not more than 5,000 Sing dollar per month. Now, the fourth goal they want to achieve is they want to fund both of their children university education starting at age 19 in Singapore, which is one of the reasons why he insists on buying that Singapore condominium latest by 2019. Although this might set his retirement goals probably a bit further, but he's aware that this is one of the goals, plus the Singapore condo purchase, are the goals that he do not want to compromise. And we know that at the current rate, the per year tuition fees at any in very reputable Singapore university, it stands around 60,000 Sing dollar as of today. Now, as I say, the children is currently in the international school, and it's costing them in Malaysia it's about 30,000 per year for each of the children. They also want to factor in annual vacation expenses of 25,000 Malaysian ringgit. And the next one, they want to live with a monthly post-retirement expenses, whether it's after 50 or after 55 or after 60. They want to have post-retirement expenses of around 15,000 per month in Malaysia in today's value. Or if they were to retire in Singapore, they want to have something like a 10,000 Sing dollar in today's value until the age of 80, with a very conservative inflation rate of 2-3% in Singapore and in Malaysia. And also by the end of 80 years old, they want to know that if they can leave at least a 2 million legacy or estate for their children. Now, moving to the part 3, this is of course the burning questions that Mr. and Mrs. X wants to know. In the first few slides, we already know what they have, what are their cash flow, what are their expenses, and they have the desire to achieve all of these 6 goals. Therefore, the next 5 years is very critical for them not to make any major mistake. And here's what they want to know in advance so they can plan their strategy, their finances accordingly. Number 1 is that they want to know that with all these goals, with all that what they have, with all their current expenses, current annual income, are they able to retire at age 50, assuming nothing's changed? Keep the expenses, all the income are coming in as per the current condition. Can they do that? Can Mr. X retire? Of course, the wife can still work because it's a part-time self-employed business owner, home business. Now, the other burning question is, if through our analysis, financial planning analysis, and we show them number 1 is not possible, then what will be the next expected age they can retire? If they say that goal number 3 to 6 is non-negotiable, let us recap of what is goal number 3 and 6. Goal number 3, they want to buy a condo in Singapore costing about 1.2 million Sing dollar. 4 is children education, 5 is annual vacation, and 6 is the post-retirement expenses requirement. So they want to know that if number 1 is not possible, what are the things that they have to change in their lifestyle, in their expenses, or how to invest, how to manage the finances, so they can at least get themselves closer to achieving goal 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Now, if they also, Mr. X also have this desire to actually stop working absolutely at 55, so he can concentrate on his own more flexible time self-consultancy business. Therefore, if we say that if you were to extend work to 55, how much better would the financial roadmap be? Would they run out of money at age 60? Will they run out of money at age 70? So these are the things that are possible scenario, and they want to know that in advance. They want to project that. They want to know in advance so they can do something about it. If worst come to worst, they want to achieve their goal number 3 to 6, but even extending work to age 55 is not possible, then at least they know, and then at least they can put in some corrective action at this point of time before it is too late. Therefore, the next thing they want to know, they ask us, is that how would goal number 3 to 6, how would goal number 3 and to 6 are impacted if today Mr. X is being retrenched and he will be jobless for 1 full year, meaning that he will be not generating income for the next 1 year. Because you see, retrenchment in many multinational companies is really a scare for many people, and he wants to know that if he's jobless for 1 year, will his future goals be impacted, and if any adjustments are needed, what are the kind of adjustment and how to adjust for it. And the next one they were asking us is that how much expenses reduction that is needed during the pre and post retirement if they insist on retiring at age 50. Of course, the ideal one, they say that they want to stop working, Mr. X want to stop working at age 50, but that is not possible. They can extend work at 55, correct? However, they say that, okay, what if I can reduce my goal number 6? That means that I don't spend that much in retirement from age 50 until age 80. How much can I reduce? So you see, they want to know by tweaking one variable at any point of time. They want to know how it will impact their future financial roadmap. Now, the next one is that if number 5 is not feasible from expenses reduction standpoint. Why? Is because this is just very normal. Sometimes it's just not feasible to say that, oh, you can achieve, tell cancer, say you can achieve your goals if you were to only spend 500 per month and save maybe 80% of your income. You know, that is just not possible, and that is what it means, right? If it's not feasible from expenses reduction standpoint, what would be the worst case scenario of the retirement goals? Worst case scenario, how would their post-retirement expenses be reduced, provided they still want to stick to goal number 3 and 4. Goal number 3 and 4, non-negotiable. 3 is buy the Singapore condo, and number 4 is self-funding the children education. 2 children, 60,000 Sing dollar per year. So we are talking about a substantial amount, almost like 500,000 of Sing dollar here, right? But they say that, what if we can compromise on goal number 5 and 6? We can reduce that, right? What would be the worst case scenario? Now, coming on next is that if Mr. X were to take a pay cut now, immediately, which reduce its household income by 50%, for example, now it's 800,000 per year, reduced to 400,000 per year, and he's willing to extend work until age 60 for less stressful position, would Mr. X and Mrs. X then be still able to achieve their goal number 4, which is the first priority? What's goal number 4? Children education is always a priority, and also they're willing to compromise, reduce goal number 6, which is the second priority, while foregoing goal number 3, meaning that they want to perhaps come to worst case scenario, they say they can not buy the Singapore condo. How would that turn out if you were to take a pay cut, right? So again, there's another scenario analysis that's going on here. Therefore, in regards to goal number 6, it says that what will be the reduced amount that I have to do in reduce my expenses from now until age 50 or what, right? And after I retire, how would my expenses, you need me to reduce my expenses? Because what they desire is 15,000 Malaysian ringgit. See, just come back to here. What they desire is 15,000 Malaysian ringgit or 10,000 Sing dollar per month in Singapore. They say that, okay, if we were to reduce that just to cater for what you want to achieve in number 7, how would my expenses be reduced? How much I need? Maybe if just a reduction of 15,000 Malaysian ringgit to 12,000 Malaysian ringgit, it's very fair. Maybe there's something they can do. But if you say that it's not possible, from what they desire, 15,000 Malaysian ringgit to 2,000 per month Malaysian ringgit, maybe that is not feasible. But they want to know, right? They want to know. And these are some of the questions, the incidental question they also want to know. Of course, they have an insurance, paying a premium of 25,000 for 4 people in the family. They feel that it's a bit too much. They want to know whether they are underinsured or wrongly insured, or whether they're overpaying for their insurance. Any opportunity for cost savings, because any cost savings that we can do from insurance, it will contribute towards funding their retirement goal. And of course, they want to know whether their EPF member investment scheme, meaning that EPF amount that's invested in multiple multi-unit trusts, they cannot really see what the actual annual return is generating because it's so fragmented, it's not consolidated. So they want to know over the years, considering what they have contributed over the years, considering the time length they've invested in, they want to know, is it really below or above 6%, right? If it is really underperforming, they want to know how to maximize it for the next few years before they call it quits, right? And last but not least, they also want to know that they have a substantial FD over here. Should they buy a property? Should they invest in REITs? They are more inclined to that because they say that they want some liquidity in the investment because they're already very heavy in a property investment. And they say that, well, should this amount, how should I allocate it so that this amount can be used to reduce my outstanding balance principal for my existing property, or whether they should put into some dividend stock or maybe REITs that generate consistent dividend. So these are the questions, as you can see, that's real fee-based financial planning can help you answer that. Here I'm going to take probably a 5 minutes break, and before we go and continue to the next part, I'm going to show you a pre-recorded testimonials of clients that have engaged myself for a full-fledged comprehensive financial retirement planning. There are 3 testimonials feedback from clients that I want to show you. One is a pilot, the other one is a medical professional, the other one is a senior manager working in a multinational company. So this profile of clients that engage me, they range from 25 to 45 shown in this webinar, but there are clients who are even in their late or mid 50s that engage me for their retirement planning and management as well. So you get to know what are the views on fee-based financial planning, or which integrates retirement planning, of course, and what they like about the approach. Now, it's not these recorded videos that I have a session with clients, an interview, if you want to call it. They are not of the best visual or audio quality because they are done spontaneously in when I meet clients outside and all that. But I put in the subtitles in the testimonial, so you will know, you will get what they are actually talking about. Okay, so let's get right into it. Hey, today I'm with Ling Sing, one of our clients who engage for financial planning, fee-based financial planning services. Hi Ling Sing, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. Yeah, enjoyed my coffee today.
Good. What do you like most about the approach?
Yeah, I think for the approach, why first things I want to thank Jing Fu for his flexibility, right? So normally I only can make it on Saturday and on specific location and a specific time slot. So he's always very flexi to come all the way from Penang Island to meet me up. And in terms of the approach, why one thing I really appreciate Jing Fu is he's very detailed. He's always give a lot of thoughts to me and always trigger my thinking so that we can make the whole financial report more comprehensive. And that really benefit, especially during the conversation. Then the other thing also, he always seek clarification. Is there any input that I didn't really give correctly or clearly? Yeah, so that really helps. Yeah, instead of making assumption that you just move forward. Yeah, so I really think that he really stand from customer standpoint, always, think from my perspective. So that I feel that approach really made me feel very.
What do you think of the benefit, your major benefit that you gain from this fee-based financial planning?
Okay, so as I mentioned to you, that in the past I always come with my own version of financial planning. I do it on my own. So I thought it's really like something straightforward. So I can easily copy from the books. So I bought some books and get the formula, come with my spreadsheet and all this thing. But along the way, when I deep dive to it, so I found I'm facing some challenges, certain assumptions, certain variables that I don't really have a good knowledge to go for it. So I do a few try, ask friends, refer to books, but I really stuck. So this is why I decided to look for a professional financial planner like you, right? So whether this benefit me or not, so let me comment a little bit. Is after a few review with you, and we discuss. So at least I know what is my current financial status and whether am I moving to the right direction. Yeah, and what is the critical factors that I always have to watch closely in order to achieve my goal. Yeah, so that pretty much answered this question. So the answer certainly is yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Last question perhaps is what do you think of the fees and affordability and value for money along that angle?
Yeah, I think the fees to me, because it's the first time I engage a financial planner, so to me I think it's worth the pay. Yeah, so so-called affordability is to me is like purchaser is able to pay for, so it is yes. And value for money, that for sure yes, because I think this can be my reference along the way moving forward. Yeah, so that I know, that was the area that I really have to watch for, and what's the area that I can do better, what's the area that I can spend more. So it's very value for money. Yeah, so happy with it.
Thank you very much, Ling Sing. Now let me show you a snapshot, a preview of how we do a fee-based financial planning. Now essentially, this is how a summary of how fee-based financial planning can tell you. It might look a lot of figures and it might overwhelm you, but I'm just going to give you a preview of how this whole framework actually helps you to plan for your retirement if you're heading to one, and if you're already retired, help you to visualize how long your assets will last until what age, and considering how it impacts your financial goals and the others around you. So I'm going to go through this pretty quick. I don't want to really overwhelm you with too much of the figures and whatnot, because if you engage a fee-based financial planning, we are going to, as a client and advisor, we are going to spend a lot of time actually going through how one things affect another and how this whole change one variable or change a few variables and how the whole thing actually can affect your entire financial roadmap. So this is how it goes. Normally, on a financial road mapping or scenario modeling, you have something like, this is your current year, what's the year, and this is your age, and we will also put in, so it's very easy to visualize your children's age. And of course, we want to say that what are the assets? Assets meaning that your liquid assets normally, or any assets in liquid form that can fund your future financial goals. And then you have what we call as your annual expenses. Annual expenses meaning it refers to your expenses, day-to-day expenses, expenditure. This is all figures are in annual. And of course, this is what you call asset after withdrawal, which essentially meaning that what you have, and then what you need to spend on that particular year, you should have allocated that at the beginning of the year. That is why this is an amount that was what was deducted, the annual expenses need, against your opening asset balance. And of course, this is to help you visualize how a financial gain or loss, asset gain or loss. It could be something that asset that you dispense off, something that is unexpected, like a stock market downturn or whatnot. You need to buy a car, so this is where it will actually deplete your liquid asset. And the next moving forward is what we call as a asset being expense. Again, this is to segregate what are the asset that is being expensed out of your annual income. And essentially, after deducting these two, asset gain or loss and asset expense, you have your asset balance. What will be your projected average return rate? Take a very conservative figure. And thereafter, we will have your what we call the absolute return sum, which is a percentage out of your asset balance over here. And then you will have your return sum reinvested. Why this column exists is that it's very likely for most people, their profit from the investment, not 100% are being reinvested. Some they will use it for global vacation and whatnot. So that's why it's accounted for. And this is what we call additional asset. It could be a bonus, something you did not expect, a downfall, not downfall, meaning that what we call in Malay term is a durian runtuh, something that is a windfall, right? Something a windfall, or you have to liquidate some of your properties which is not included in this asset balance, and this will add on to your total balance, which actually before it gets carried over to the following year, it will have your annual income expectation as well. And this annual income in this scenario analysis, why you see there's a lot of colors over here, is actually a legend to say that this what does this represent. This actually represent the time where he sold this kind of money. You expect to sell these a few properties so that he can fund. In 2019, he can fund a very expensive property purchase for his own stay, which needs about 500,000. And because of that, he needs to prepare to liquidate some of the existing asset or properties in order to fund this. And you can see this whole roadmap, how it comes to, and you can see this income actually stops at the age of 55, because that is what he wants. He wants to stop working. But at the same time, this is what are these asset, this obligation. This is what we call a children education fund for the first children, and this is for the second children. You see, this is, so it was at the time when the first child reached 19, you have to go to uni 4 years. This would be the expected expenses. And you can see that why here it have a red over here is because this scenario shows that he works until 55. Yes, he works until 55, he no more generating income, but at the same time he needs to still pay for his condominium purchase that was here until he is actually 65 years old. Okay, 65 years old, and at the same time you need to fund for this children education when he's no longer generating income. And this is how just a very snapshot, it tells you these columns are in red, because if he were to continue doing what he's doing with this income and stop working at 55, he's going to face a shortfall, right, at age 63, which is why it's represented by the red over here. And of course, bear in mind that along the way you have things like the spouse EPF, or what we call as a pension fund or retirement fund. the public retirement fund that can be used to fund everything. But again, it would not be enough because I can project that by what age you're going to run out of money if you stop working at 55, compared to if you were to stay in that job with all those expected increment and whatnot. If you were to stay in that position and if you extend your working life until 60, now things improve, you see, things improve. But at the same time, you have to notice that this money or retirement nest egg, if nothing changed in terms of funding children education and whatnot, still paying for the new condo purchase here when he is he's 47 years old, you can see that it extend the roadmap, and he will only run out of money at age 70. So ideally, it seems that if nothing change, I mean, if he insists on buying that property at the age of 47, insists on sending his children education expense like this, you will run out of money at the age of 70. Compared to if you work until age 65, you can see that there's a lot of difference over here. The fact that the scenario becomes much better. There's no cells highlighted by red. That means there's no shortfall even he were to live until the age 80. So this is the powerful thing about scenario analysis modeling or financial road mapping in a true sense of fee-based financial planning. Okay, I hope so far everything was clear. I've shown you the case study and what are the behind the scenes that we do that you can emulate or maybe copy to do your own retirement come financial planning. So this is the second part of the testimonials, feedback from clients, that how they find about the approach. I'm going to show you the remaining two of my clients when it comes to retirement come financial planning. So let's get right into it.
What do you like most about
the approach is because it's very very instantaneous in the sense that it's not it's casual in the sense that it's not formal, you put a person in an office and talk about these things are also a little bit uncomfortable. So it's very nice to be able to can talk about all these things in your true self. Comfortable like that, right? So we can meet anywhere. So I guess that's
be casual.
That would be nice. So yeah. So the approach is like that, and the no, what do you call that? Financial jargons and stuff like that. So it's all plain English. So that also will help, and definitely the analogies and stuff like that. That is because that's something I can relate, right? Because I'm not in the financial field, right? Like for instance, that's why you mentioned the standard kind of stuff, right?
Right.
So yeah, these are the instances that very good,
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
For that part, I think you can score quite highly on that.
I'm being rated, by the way. So what do you think the main benefits are? You think from these are fee for advice, financial planning?
So for the benefits part, I think it's a lot. First things first, because to be honest, when I approach you, I have zero, nothing at all. I don't know what to expect out of this.
Right.
So I don't know. Definitely, I don't know when my status financial status stands. Well, after all these things, at least I know, like you mentioned, it's some 35 years now. Right, 2035.
2035,
2025, that will be my crucial year.
Crucial year.
Yeah, so at least if I can work, I can have that as my, what do you call that, my yardstick. At least I know these few years, it's very important for me to work on something and not take on extra debts and stuff like that.
Right.
So not take on extra liabilities.
Be more cautiously
be more cautious.
Optimistic at that point of time.
And definitely about the what they call that, the optimization part, the portfolio part and things like that. I've already known these things for quite some time, but
bits and pieces.
But it's just at the corner of my mind, you see. So, but it's just that when give me this kind of graph and stuff, and then it further reinforces that, oh, maybe I should take a look.
Right.
Every now and then, to analyze and see maybe is there a possibility that I could just diversify around things like that.
Right.
Yeah. So the benefits is like that.
Okay. So what do you think? Do you think the fees for the scopes advice that this render, do you think is reasonable, affordable, and what do you?
Yeah, definitely it's affordable. Looking at the what they call that, benefits, right, that I'm getting out of all these things.
Right.
And most importantly, I mean from a neutral perspective. So because it's very hard, because if you approach 10 so-called financial planner, I'm sure they will give you different advices.
Right.
But at the end, they might push you to buy some products like this like that. I've had a few experiences also, so it's like they might.
You have a bad. I mean, like
I'm
not bad lah, but borderline not so comfortable experience.
Yeah. So I'm just not comfortable lah, because they came with return here. They came from bank or something like that. So it's already like, hey, come on, you are from the bank, so you might, all the information or advices that you are about to give will naturally incline towards that.
Yeah, it's not the person is not good. It's just that. I mean, if you are selling a Apple phone, you cannot say Samsung is good.
Exactly. And moreover, you are in that uniform, so it gives me the tricks lah. Like you say that you are neutral, but how neutral is it?
Right. Okay.
So for that, I'm thankful to you or not, because I don't see you wear anything.
I wear too casually.
So yeah, it does has the selling points. So it's very neutral, and then I mean, everything is from experiences, everything is from clients' info, right?
Custom-made, tailor-made.
Let's put it that way, from a medical perspective, it's like you are prescribing the medicine that you are actually eating.
Wow, good way to put it, huh?
Yeah, so the doctor is like, eating the medicine the doctor prescribing medicine, knowing that the doctor, he himself, is taking that same medicine.
If he were to have that kind of same illness.
So you feel very secure. This is not trying to push, not trying to push on sales to some drug company. So all in all, it's a pleasant experience, and I'm very, very sure, there will be more of this kind of engagement.
Hey, I'm with Mr. Sam.
Hi.
Mr. Sam is a pilot.
Yeah.
Just advising on his retirement plan. Sam,
Early
how are you?
retirement plan. Good.
It's early retirement plan.
Early retirement plan.
So how often does a pilot retire early?
How often? I think it depends on how you manage your money. I mean, if you don't manage well, no matter who you are, you won't retire early also, no matter how much you earn. So it depends how you manage your fund.
So you think financial planning is pretty important?
Very important. I a few years back, I know that it's important, but I don't have any guidance. Just alone, trying to searching for the path to financial freedom.
So after I advise you, do you feel clearer? Result not yet lah.
Not yet lah, but yeah, much clearer. I have a goal. I have a goal, but I don't know how to achieve it. I do not know the formula, the ways to achieve my goal. So these few years be like wandering around, knowing my goal, but I don't know how to achieve my goal. And after year, I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. So at least after your advice, then I get a clearer goal and I know what I should do, and whether I might on the right path towards my goal or not.
So I can say that's the main benefit.
Main benefit, yeah.
The advisory. Great to hear that. So how do you find the approach throughout the advisory session?
Approach is good. It's biased. That's what I want, because I used to go. I try to do it myself. I want to save money. So I try to do it myself. I look for different agents. Plans, everything. So every time I get. I mean, not to say the agent outside are not good, but the way it's said, they try to convince you with the plan, with their policy, with their plan they have. But I think it should work in this way, as in I should know what I need and I search for what I need. It's not what you have to show me and convince me that the plan suits me, But I fell into that trap for like a few years. So after 3 years of these things, running around the circles, so eventually I go to Google, internet, that's how I know you. Then I just give it a try, ask you out. At first it's very new to me, and also I feel it's very new to Malaysia in terms of financial advice, Penang. So I just give it a try. At first I'm a bit skeptical, but I give it a try, and it turned out to be good.
Oh, glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So, do you think is it affordable, worth the money?
It's affordable, but some people may think it's unnecessary. But what I experience is that the money that I pay is just I managed to save. I mean, the money that I wasted on overpaying policies and everything, actually the amount I pay is just like maybe 10-20% of it. So eventually I save 80% of the money that I overpay. So it's affordable, but you may think it's unnecessary. What I experienced, I thought it's unnecessary 3 years back. That's why I fell into that trap. And I did give it a try. Eventually, now I get to save more. I got a few policies and everything, so eventually I save more.
So it's a bang for your buck lah.
Yes.
Going forward lah, huh?
Yeah, sometimes it's like, penny wise, pound foolish. So you try to save a little thing, but eventually you fell into a bigger trap. That's what I experienced.
I think everyone have to walk through that path. Then once you say, "Hey, wow,"
it's quite a painful experience. But no choice, you just have to face it.
Yeah. What's gone is what's done is done lah. Yeah. As long as we don't make it more mistakes or wastage going forward.
But quite painful also.
It could be more painful if you delay a few more years, but now it's more consolidated lah, streamlined.
And now at least we know where am I at, my goal, am I near or am I still very far, and how to achieve it. At least I have a clearer view of doing it, and also not overpaying my insurance policy.
Right.
And making full use of every cent
Dollars,
that I hard earn. So highly recommend. Good.
Thank you. Any last words?
Any last words?
Final comment.
I would recommend Liu. You can give it a try, and it's 2 thumbs up for me.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Alright, if you are still with me in this webinar, I hope that you have gained a lot of value from what I just shared with you so far. Now from here on, here are the 2 parts. The 2 parts, 2 ways you can take, 2 options. You can do it yourself, or you can be taken by hand by a credible independent advisor. I'm referring to myself here, of course. So there are 2 paths, right? You can take. So you could see that this is what I have to offer, right? But the truth is you might not be the person to benefit from access to this information or from this webinar, because if you are feeling 100% secure about the sustainability of your retirement finances, or you have no intention to do better than what you are currently doing, then the truth is you might not be the person that might benefit from all this what we have just talked about. But the thing is, if you have a different mindset, right, then of course there are a few options for you to take from here on. Honestly, I can't make you care more about your retirement. I can't make you care more about the catchline for today's webinar: never run out of money before running out of life. I can't really make you care more or make you feel important about why this is important. However, if you already have that in you, there's 2 options here. You can either look at my retirement course, where it's all DIY. You can really get and download all this template and all that I'm currently showing you, I'm currently using. You can do it on your own. Or if you are the person that likes a personalized approach, a one-to-one consultation, then also you are feel free to drop me a mail and contact me, okay, so we see how to move things from there. So I hope you really get massive value from today's webinar, and I want to thank you for joining us for this webinar, and hope this added much value to you, give you more peace of mind when it comes to retirement and financial planning, because that is the ultimate goal that every one of us wants. So I'm Seth Liu. I'm going to sign off here, and if you have any questions or whatnot, then you can direct email me, drop me a mail. If it's just a question about this webinar, probably my team will actually get into it. But if you want to engage me one-to-one, have any question about the retirement course, then you can always drop us an email from here. Okay, I hope this has been useful, and I'll say that happy investing, have a good financial planning journey, a personal financial journey, whatever, and I hope to talk to you soon. If you decide to join my retirement course, or if you want to engage me for one-to-one consultation. Okay, have a good day.